Here's an interesting situation on the gold. We just say open it after weekend and with the large gap. So there was some plateau preventing the buyers to go higher, but right after the market opened on an Asian session on the gold, the price went through significantly. There's a large green and this blue. Those two are buyers. Orders 400, 300 over here. That's why I decided to make a zone. So the price bounced from that zone, and it actually encountered with the liquidity sitting right above. It was the first time encounter, second time, third time. Now at this third time, we can see that liquidity over here, which was about what, 41? Volume 41 couldn't hold and the price went through slightly. Then we're seeing that sellers exited over here. That was a sellers exiting, and then the price came exactly to the same level, and now you see that there's a large buyers sitting right there with the blue bubbles. Blue and green, those are buyers. But we can observe that this liquidity is no longer present right over here. So the heat map play its role to predict the possible, the price hesitation or reaction. But then there is no liquidity sitting over here. So the price went to higher, then bounced a little bit down. And now, because we still see that there's no sellers on the level 2, like they were sitting on liquidity over here, 44, 41, 43, there's an empty. This is the vacuum. So that's quite often happens that the price move because there is a vacuum on the level 2. The sellers were not present over here at this time. So the price went easily and went to what? To the next liquidity level. So what does it tell me? What does it, this kind of like a structure tells me? Instead of building like a price action, people high and low, high and low, high and low, high and low, higher, intermediate, high, low, high, low, high, low. We don't look at the high and lows only, okay? What we're looking for, we're looking at the liquidity that present on the heat map and at the MBO, because the MBO is capable to show us the liquidity at the very second or a millisecond if those that historically recorded liquidity being present there for a while, like this one for a while, like this one for a while. And so you're seeing the immediate reaction when the liquidity is still there. The price didn't touch that liquidity yet. Now what it's doing, it's actually accumulating its strength again to actually hunt that liquidity. We'll see if that liquidity will be there when the price will come. Right now, at this very moment, I don't see that liquidity, which was present over there, just what, 1, 2, 3, just a minute ago, a minute and a half ago, 2 minutes ago, was here, but no longer here. And I don't see that liquidity even present on the MBO DOM mean time over here. That means the road to the upper side is open for us. All we needed now is to see if the buyers and the sellers on both levels, level 1 and level 2, will unite delta on a level 2, pulling and stocking, which happens over there. This is delta 1, this is delta 2. When we will see that the buyers on both levels will be united, now like over here, we can make an entrance.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Okay, so order is filled. I'm gonna move a little bit away. Probably just for a visual, I'm gonna move it to the previously visible liquidity on a heat map sitting right there. And the price is moving, but the price is actually not
target filled.
Definitely easy because there's a vacuum of liquidity was here. It's just a blank black space over here. So there's no sellers over there at the moment when the price strike that price level. Now that's what's happening. And now you see again, that was a support by the level 2. That's why this candle moved up. Okay, pretty good. and now we're seeing that there's a buyer still there. We can enter at any time. If I'm conservative, I'm gonna wait if the price will return somewhere like over here, and then enter into a long position again. By the way, this is an educational content only. So this is educational content. Now there's liquidity right there showing up. Okay, 29, what it was, 28. So now I know that probably a reaction will be somewhere like over here. Let's see if the price is gonna go down, and if I would like to go into a long, it's probably better for me to wait more conservative entrance. No, the price is have enough juice to go higher. What is this? This is the seller trying to sell over here, but it wasn't supported on both levels. And so the price is kind of like struggling over here. Now, that was a buyer, that was a seller. Okay, well, we'll probably see some. Okay, now the road is open because I don't see anybody on the on the MBO DOM on the level 2 present here. So boom, boom, boom. So you see that when there is a vacuum, unless we're seeing some strong level, the price will just go and push up very easily. Here we go. You see that there's sellers on the level 2 over here. They are kind of moving out their orders higher and higher. So they are not stacking, they're pulling away. Now there's a sum 16 right now, 16 on the MBO DOM. Okay, here we go, and there's a sum of this growing on 23. So now I'm gonna wait a little bit to be slightly conservative, and if the price will going lower, I'm gonna catch up that price from a better position. So obviously that this is the range with the large bubbles, buying bubbles over here. So there's a buyer sitting over here. So where I'm gonna catch up the price, probably somewhere like over here. Okay, somewhere like over here. And there's an interesting situation on the buying side. This is a very eager or desperate buyer right over here. Price is gonna catch up over here, then it's going to be a good entrance for me as well. So I'm ready to buy because of that buyer is supporting that price. Oh, oops, it was removed. Oh, why, dude, you were removed? I don't know why, because price is moving higher. That's why, because there was an absorption over here. So the price is probably not going to go lower. And this is live, by the way. I'm not making this video after I recorded that. No, this is live situation and live comments. So, okay, we'll see the situation when I will see that buyers on both levels, like right now, are united, but they're not yet strong. So they're kind of changing because 0.3 is not too much on a buying side on the footprint. Okay, we'll see. We'll see now. First time, that is the second time. What is the thicker line? This is a single imbalance sitting inside of that zone, imbalance zone. So one zone and the single imbalance sitting there. So it's a large cluster, basically. We went through, will we go lower? If we're gonna go lower, I'm gonna get a better chance. So all I'm waiting for right now is the better chance. And because of that high volatility, the rotation or a pullback may not look very pretty like I usually use, because in a pretty rotation, this bar is supposed to be short. I'm waiting for the short bars. Right now, this bar is kind of like a first wave to go up. It is too soon to enter yet. Let's see, will I get a shorter candle bars? I'm waiting for the short candle bars. So the short candle bars signaling that the struggle is ended, no more. Now we're definitely taking over. We're definitely taking over the previous situation. So the price is just moving higher. Let's see if we're gonna get pushed back a little bit, because there's a seller sitting right here on the MBO. We'll see if that's gonna be a, no, it's okay. See, okay, it was consumed, by the way. He didn't pull away. Okay, so the delta right here, 10 minus 10. This is positive delta 18. So okay, we're going up.
Order
Okay, here we
submitted.
go. Probably I'm too late, but it's better to be a little bit too late than too
Order
early.
submitted.
Here we go. So I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna cancel this order. Cancel it.
Canceled.
We'll see if my order gonna be grabbed and what's going happens again. You see this blue 53333. Those are buyers, and okay,
Order
there's a
filled.
bunch of buyers again out there. So nice. I'm gonna move my take profit before this liquidity. That is a safe position for me to exit before this liquidity sitting on an MBO. This is level 2, right? So there's a okay. Okay, there was unusual seller trade here.
Target filled.
Here we go. That was quite easy. Again, this is a tutorial, by the way, guys. I'm simply explaining my logic and how I'm get oriented based on the bubbles, which are delta, market delta. So we're gonna release very soon in the next, I don't know, maybe at the end of this week or beginning of the next week, we're going to release the new indicator, which is market by order large smart orders, which are different. And many people have no idea what's the difference between the big orders, between the large orders, and the MBO based markets orders, which are large, that we track by ID. The point is, it will be ID based large orders. What does it mean? That means we know that that is an individual, single, large order that's going to be released. And we, in a situation like that, you easily can replace these bubbles with the new one. You see now this single imbalance zone is holding pretty well. Okay, so you see that there's a sub buyers over here holding that meantime. Although we don't see that they're holding it for a long time, there's no heat map liquidity because we filter that out. But now this is kind of like a M. Although this is M, we can struggle right over here. Usually it is. But I'm not sure if we're going to go lower unless those buyers now needs to release all of that, all of those orders that they accumulated on this moment. Okay, now it looks like we're moving, we're accumulating. Now this is a reaccumulation, and the next liquidity is 60 over there. Isn't that fantastic? So now I know the price is magnetized to that liquidity on the level 2. Liquidity happens only on the level 2, and everybody who is sitting on the price action, kind of the PO, price action junkies, they believe ICT that needs to be in a psyche house because he's psychologically, mentally not healthy, although he's an excellent marketer. So the people who believe him, they believe that liquidity is right on top of this top and this top. While actual liquidity, we know there's a 1 over here, 21, and we can see that immediately the order is still holding right now, right over here, and even larger liquidity. There's one order 50 and another order 7, volume 7 lots. So we can see that there's a totally 61 right now. Yeah, we can see it totally 61 with the 5 only orders. That is a large. So we're going to get the price reaction right over here. So the liquidity is only visible only on the level 2 data, which TradingView don't even have proper level 2 data at all. If you're using TradingView and you hope you understand where liquidity is, it is a stories that told by you grandma before you going to bed, and you kind of feel like, but in this case it's told by ICT, and you feel like, oh, I feel good because of that story, and it is just a
Target filled.
bedtime story told you
Target
by
filled.
ICT. Okay, so we believe in data which released on the CME exchange, not by the ICT
Target filled.
and his unhealthy psychology. Okay, And by the way, he never been proved to win any competition yet. Okay, so everybody is laughing at the fact that he was not able to. Now we definitely can see if the price is going to give me a better chance to re-enter, because there's a 0 0 0 0. Now you need to know that why price is moving this high. I'm going to give you one secret right now, which I can demonstrate you many times, maybe in another lesson, that price can move on the zero. You see, 0 sellers, 1 buyer, 0 seller, 0 buyer, but the price is moving. Why the price is moving? The price is moving by two reasons. One of them is when there is a no liquidity, like you're seeing over there on the left side. There was some liquidity, 23 and 18 and like 28 over there. So there was liquidity, and the price get reaction on liquidity. The price get reaction on liquidity, like over here and over here. So the liquidity is on the level 2. But when there is a no liquidity and there's a kind of like a vacuum, and this is the key. Listen what I'm going to say. The price can move because there is a vacuum of liquidity. So one reason, because the price is pushed by buyers on a level 2, but another reason is because there's a no liquidity on a level 1. Right now, yeah, I can see that there's a 12 sitting right there. Okay, there's actually 17 total. Yeah, 17 total on the MBO DOM. I can see them when we went through this particular level. If those sellers will be present, then it's a good idea for me to shoot up. But if okay, now they remove that liquidity. Now on a MBO DOM, they removed, but on a heat map, there is a traces that they were present there for a little bit, a while, okay, with 19 max, but there's a no longer. Now the road is actually not really blocked. I don't see any prevention for the price to go higher.
Order
So
submitted.
now that's why I submitted my order. Boom. Okay, it's not grabbed all my 3
Order
orders
filled.
yet. Okay, here we go now. All of my 3 orders being grabbed, and I can easily put my exits where these buyers being stuck right there. So those buyers are trapped buyers. And usually price, when this is not significant though yet, but usually when there's a trap buyer stacking over there, the price, what these guys will do, they try to reverse the price to unlock them.
Stop filled.
At least, okay, I'm being stopped because this is a really interesting, aggressive seller on the level 2. Okay, yes, it's not a mistake. I said that was an aggressive seller on a level 2. We'll see what's going on. Okay, 78, nice, fantastic, fantastic. We can probably, okay, now there's a support on the level 2. Over here, there was a 40. Now they're gone. I don't know why they're gone. Let's see the situation. Let's see the situation, what's going to happen. Now, this is, by the way, situational trading. Why? Because the main premise of the entering into the trade to see who is stronger, buyers or sellers.
Order
Right
submitted.
now, we can see that the buyers are taking over. We can see it by the both levels on the price on the level 1, level 2 over here, level 1, delta 1, delta 2. We can see that the price is definitely taking
Order
over
submitted.
and don't
Order
even return
filled.
back. Okay,
Order canceled. Stop filled.
here we go. Okay, so why is that happens? Because I didn't get enough time to move
Order filled.
my stop loss, because there's a high volatility. And okay, I'm gonna exit before this liquidity, and this is the another point of the lesson. Where do I put my exits? Right before the large liquidity that's sitting there for a while on a heat map, and I see that still there present meantime on the MBO DOM.
Stop filled.
One of my stops being stopped because it was break even. Okay, it was a break even. Okay, now let's see what's going on. Okay, so the price can go lower. Yeah, price can go and fill in all of those zeros over here because there's not too much, buying power in that fair value gap, if you can say so. Okay, here we go. So I see the price is kind of moving in because there's like an empty space over here. There's not too many trades at all. So where I can hide my stop, I'm going to hide it below this large bubble 70. Okay. Because the buyers were preventing sellers to go lower. That's why absorption happens here. Okay, here we go. Now, let's see if there will be too many buyers, no, too many sellers pushing the price lower. I see that the delta 21, 19, total is about 40 right now. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now price is reversing. This is a nice week. Not the strong, I don't see absorption over here large, but it's simply saying the sellers are kind of fading away. Oh, okay. Now I'm going to hold my stop loss over there. I'm not going to move it because if the price is going lower than this bubble, that means that we're going to go lower.
Stop
Here
filled.
we go. Now, here we go. The price, so we're probably gonna go lower unless this range gonna hold us. Sellers are prevailing right now. You see there's like a bunch of the level 2 sale, but that is a large sale on level 2, large, smaller, kind of like a smaller right now. We'll see the delta 2 is still active there. Negative delta. Red delta 2, red delta 1. Okay, we need to let the price breathe out the sellers so the sellers get exhausted. When there will be exhausted, okay, this is, I think that was a good level. By the way, that was a good level as well for the price to kind of like get some reaction over here. We'll see if we're going to go lower or not. Let's wait for the price to demonstrate us who are stronger. Here we go. At this point of time and moment for the price momentum. We'll okay, now that's really good, big absorption. 71, okay, nice, I love that. Okay, now you see the absorption happens one time, second time. I'm definitely, if the price is gonna move up, I'm gonna enter into the long.
Order submitted.
Because what? Because the price is now absorbed over here. The seller is totally
Order
exhausted.
filled.
Boom, baga boom, and I'm gonna move my take profit and
Target filled.
okay. I need to keep my stops a little bit far away because of that volatility right now. Although this is a really good position for me to keep my stop loss, or even that one to be precise. Okay, so I'm not paranoid. I'm going to keep it right here. This is a single imbalance. Previously happens on the left. So that was a 38. Here we go. Now I'm going to catch even longer shot into with my long positions. Why? Because the same way the price swing down, it can move with the same speed on the way up. That is my logic, what I'm telling myself. So this large candle, we can simply reverse with about the same speed. And not always, but the price is going to climb, and what? The price is going to, you see there's a blue bubbles at the top, those buyers, blue and green, those are buyers. Okay, there was absorption, okay, at the very top. But that absorption indicators, it wasn't really like a strong absorption like 71 over here. It was like a twice less. So there is a buyer's power concentrated at the top, and those buyers are intended to go even higher to get to this liquidity. So this is actually target for the price. Okay, and you're gonna see that the price will probably gonna be like, just for the sake of exercise, I'm gonna put it over here. So it's gonna be a large ratio. Okay, it's gonna be a large ratio. I enter it with the price over here, and now we're moving steadily into a higher position. That is actually the price target. I can put my exit right here to be conservative. 19 still there. Okay, this is the break even position for the stops, both of them. I'm kind of like, I can move it a little bit higher to make it slightly positive. Yeah, to make it slightly positive. Okay, here we go. And we're moving. Yeah, okay, not that fast as like over here, but quite often it's kind of like a mirroring left side, mirroring to the right side of the structure, like over here, like over here. Quite often you see that was a long candle and long candle back, long candle down, long candle up. I may expect, but not 100% all the time. So, okay, so we kind of like a little bit messing up over here. Now let's see. So the sellers on the level 2 faded out. Delta level 2 get lower. Negative delta get lower. Negative red delta on a level 1 get lower. Now the buyers stepping in over here on a level 2 and buyers are stepping in on a level 1 delta. Level 1 delta is growing. Level 2 delta is growing. Although with some kind of like a up and down, there's some red happens over here. The sellers trying to prevent it, but usually after 2-3 attempts, they kind of gone. Now, this is a 75 bubble. It is the sales on the aggressive side of the order flow, and these sellers being absorbed. Okay, so why do I know it? Because the price moved higher. How we judge if there was an absorption? We judge it by a reaction. Sellers trying to sell here, sellers trying to sell here, but why the price went higher? Because the aggressive side by market was not successful. And who prevent them? The buyers on the passive side of the market. That's what actually happens. Okay, if price is going to go lower, I have my slightly positive take with my stop. If not, I'm going to re-enter again.
Stop filled.
Let me see if the price what price gonna do. Now I'm waiting. Let's see, first reaction, second reaction, third reaction. Will that third reaction being supported? Hard to say. I see there's a bunch of sellers right here. The sellers right over here, they're making a pressure. Okay, they're making a pressure on the price. Okay, let's see. Let's see if the price is gonna go lower, then it's a good time to probably short it. Although there is a strong, this is really strong single imbalance zone, this one. Although that was a negative, right? But this negative bubble seller is because there is somebody we're buying over here. Okay, we'll see if we're gonna pass that bubble and this single imbalance, seller imbalance, although it acting now as a support probably. We'll see. We're going to pass both of them. That means we're going to go even lower. And for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to risk myself into the sale if we're going to pass it over here. But you see that there's like a range over here, and the pressure on that range, this triangle, is actually right over here. So my guess, if we're gonna make break through that level, through this zone, if we can say so. Okay, we made it. Okay, here we go. The price being absorbed over here at the bottom. There's some sellers, but we'll see if it's gonna continue or not toward this liquidity. So the liquidity is sitting right there about 20. Make it larger and see that there's some buyers right there. Okay, 10, those blue are the buyers. Okay, we'll see the final outcome of this struggle. Sellers prevail. Okay, sellers prevail. Okay, here we go. Waiting for the sellers to hit that liquidity. There's some buyer right here. Okay, this buyer was there, okay? And because of that, we've got actually this bubble, red bubble 29, because the buyers on the level 2, as you saw it. We may get some reaction, but it's not definite. That it doesn't promise to us that we're gonna bounce completely. We're gonna gain the strength. Okay, I see that there's some buyers show up again. So that was the first wave. Actually, the wave was first, second, third, fourth. Okay, now probably I may expect that we may rotate on a way up. Okay, you say that I'm not 100% always correct. I don't have to be, but I can gauge what side is taking over right now. Who's taking right now? You see there's a POC, POC, POC on these three candles. They on the same row. That's interesting. We've got a single imbalance zone right over here, probably because of this one. And we'll see. Okay, the price reaction is more valuable to us than any indicators, right? Here we go. We are going low. But now let's take a look. There's a some. Okay, there's a buyer sitting over here. So if I take this zone and I expand it, is that's why we're getting these purple bubbles? My guess, yes. That's buying zone now is active. It's proving itself, trying to prove itself that it's still active in there. Now I'm expecting when I'm gonna go long, I'm expecting to get a good profit all the way to the up. Yeah, I'm saying it beforehand because there's a large momentum to go to grab that liquidity over here that's still there. Here we go. And should I go into the long? Yes, absolutely.
Order submitted.
Here we go. Now let me move.
Order filled.
Let me move higher. I'm gonna move significantly higher. And just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna move it at least to that liquidity level. Okay, 10 is sitting right there. Not too much though. Okay, and it's not promised that it's gonna be when the price gonna reach that level. For the sake of the tutorial, that you see my point that the price is going to grab that liquidity, I'm gonna make my exit approximately this absorption. The buyers were absorbed over there. I'm gonna go out of that trade probably right over here. Why is that so? Because on an MBO DOM, I see there's a 3, 1, 2, 3 sellers with an equal sizes sitting right there. Okay, I'm gonna put it closer. Okay, if we're gonna pass this one, I'm sure we're gonna pass it, and then I'm gonna close my profit. Now that is a really large take profit. We'll see that situation, and my goal is to see how the break even happens over here, and then the price is gonna move higher. And now this is a conservative exit. Now if I'm not really that conservative, if I'm really like aggressive, I can put my exit, let's put one exit higher, where I'm gonna put it right over here. Okay, close to this liquidity on the heat map. Liquidity on the heat map historically sitting with these orders that present right now. There's a large orders. It is about what, 68? Yeah, 68 over there. We'll see what's gonna happen. Now I don't see the problem why the price will struggle here. We're probably gonna move higher. So that's what I'm expecting. And yeah, this is the live session. We'll see. Okay. Now let me see. Here we go. Okay, okay, now my break even moved over here, both of them. Will I agree if the price is gonna hunt my break even points? Yeah, I will. I rather have a break even than negative, right? So I'm gonna grab a few into a profit if the price is gonna go lower. Now, but where is actually a better position for these two stops? It is right here, because this is the buying zone. Okay, you see this buying zone? Buying zone? This is a large buying zone. So I can hide my stops in that buying zone. Here we go. You see how fast.
Target filled.
Okay, my first two orders were at target being taken, and now I have one of my orders still sitting there. This is just for the sake that there is a not too much liquidity, although I see some of these guys sitting there, but I'm not sure if they're gonna be an obstacle or not. Now this is a very aggressive take profit now, but how do I why do I put my take profit here? Because I see that liquidity, and before that liquidity I see this one is growing as well. This is kind of like a block line because there's a small orders, one by the volume of one, okay, each of them. So there are small individual orders. So the total of the orders 12, volume is 12. That means the 12 by 1, they're sitting right here. Now, they kind of like may give initial reaction. And instead of me waiting until the price get hiccup and recuperate to go up, I just put it right before that because this is quite often happens right before the large liquidity level sitting over here. So nice. Okay, now meantime, what we're seeing that there is a iceberg. This is the buying rectangle iceberg over there, and we're seeing the two bubbles selling on the level 1, icebergs sitting on level 2. Level 1 we're like trying to sell, and level 2 trying to buy, and it happens that the iceberg and those bubbles at the same spot. That's exactly what happens. The buyer over here on the iceberg side on the level 2 were buying. And by the way, when you see that the iceberg was entered here into a buying position, they have unlimited drawdown. They can survive 10, 15 ticks easily, actually 100, 200, 300 ticks. So the iceberg is not always indication when you need to enter unless you have the capacity with the same drawdown or stop losses like indefinite as the icebergs, institutional icebergs. So that was an institutional iceberg entered over here. Pretty good situation. And that was happens right at the previous stop. And that's where I've exited with the 2 contracts. Now we're moving up. The most important is that the level 2 delta is growing. Level 1 delta 1 is red less and less size of the sellers, but the level 2 is pushing. This is clearly that the level 2 is pushing up. Level 1 is still trying to push down. That's not always happens. By the way, now take a look at that situation. Who's going to prevail in that situation, level 2 or level 1? Because right now we're seeing the level 2 is growing in delta, and level 1 negative delta is getting smaller, and now they even turn into the green. When 2 deltas, level 1 and level 2, level 1 and level 2 united, we're probably gonna see the really strong push up with the price. Okay, fantastic, schmantastic. I really love that. Look at this situation. Okay, yeah, there's some struggle because the candles are short, but who is prevailing? On both sides, there's a level 2, level 1 buyers prevailing right now quite obviously. Okay, and see what's going to happen with my take profit out there. Of course, I can put it closer to this liquidity on the heat map and liquidity on the MBO DOM. I see that there's like a large person who is ready to engage with the 50 lots order, 50. That's actually substantial. But if this guy, single order 50, will remove, this whole liquidity will be like slimmer. And that will let the price even shoot even higher. So now, if you want to be like less conservative than even where I am right now,
Target filled.
here we go. Now the target is filled. Okay, here we go. Now the next liquidity level 46 sitting right there. We'll see if this guy will pull out or not. Quite interesting situation. It's quite interesting. If this 50 will be there present, that means the level 2 is selling. This person is selling from that particular price level. Here is my tutorial, and that is a live tutorial. This iceberg entered over here was quite large, and we moved with this iceberg. They may actually exit somewhere close before that liquidity. I notice quite often that icebergs like this, large icebergs, they can move 10, 15 ticks and then exit right before they're seeing the kind of like a danger or a price reaction, maybe 1, 2 ticks before this liquidity. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look if the price gonna try to attack this price level, this liquidity, because the prices love to move from liquidity to liquidity. And as you notice right now, there is no liquidity on the previous top. You see, there is no liquidity. Liquidity was there before that top, and then it's just like boom, blank, nothing. You see, there is a previous top over there, no previous top. That means the people who believe in the price action, congrats to you, kudos to you if you believe in what you believe, because you wanted to believe the story that ICT is preaching into your ears, and you want to believe that. Believe with a whole heart, but I rather gonna believe in data. In data, I trust, and I see the numbers from the CME exchange. That is exactly how can I rely, that I can rely on the indicators and not on the guesses that the liquidity is sitting on the previous stop. So there is like liquidity sitting there for a long time. We can see that there were no previous stops over here, but liquidity was present there for a long time. Now, since the opening of that Asian session, immediately after the Asian session open. Now, you want to continue. Still, there's a 50 orders sitting there. We'll see. Okay, here we go, 47. So that means, okay, some of that was removed, and now we're seeing the clear road to the next liquidity. So basically, we're going from liquidity to liquidity. And if we take a look, we have some reversals. We have some the way to recoup the price, re-engage again and again. But this is like, looks like the straight line. So this straight line definitely is not going to be always this way. I expect that the channel like that, in a one moment, they, after they accumulate a lot of orders here, they will need to, sell. Those buyers buy. Now there's a large buyers over there, 136 bubble. This is the buying on aggressive side, but there's actually more. If you take a look, you see there's like a large, and those buyers were absorbed. Okay, even second time they were absorbed. We're saying that the price may break this channel. If the price is going to go significantly lower and not going to return, then we have a chance that the price going to release all of this accumulation that price accumulated here. Okay, because we already done so over here. So the price accumulated and release it, some of that accumulation over here. Although we can see that there's a more can be done. Now that's exactly what we're doing right now. So be careful right now to go into the long position, because one of the lessons is that when we're seeing liquidity that's being taken over by the price, liquidity that is being taken over by the price, that is the lesson that in this session, probably whole day today, the price is intended go despite obstacles or the resistance with the liquidity. So the liquidity here is just attraction or magnets that price attracted to accumulate that liquidity, not as the resistance. So point is, when you're seeing the liquidity, first it was actually right here preventing the price. We're seeing the first reaction, second reaction. Then we're seeing another liquidity over here. We've got a reaction, but we recoup and we get higher. Now there was some liquidity, but it's no, when the prices actually get into this price line, then we're seeing there's a vacuum liquidity. So the price went one, second time, third time, boom, vacuum of liquidity. We moved even like higher. Now, but the price needs to release some of the accumulation. That's why we're seeing the wave 1, 2, 3. That was a release of the sellers. And after the sellers, like steam of the sellers was released and the sellers exited. By the way, you can see that on a footprint that they exiting, not entering into the sales. Absorption. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the very end of the candles. And now after the price absorbed, the sellers being absorbed, the price moved stronger in a linear fashion to the upper side. What? To hunt that liquidity. Probably we're going to go even higher, but somewhere on the movement up, it is okay and the momentum up, it is okay to expect the price gonna go what? The price gonna get release some of that energy, maybe up to this price level, which we're seeing this order sitting there, or maybe up to over here, and then we're gonna go and continue that direction. So the main direction for today, we already started pretty sure and confidently. The price is going higher and higher and higher. And now you can switch. Usually when you trade with your SIM account or your whatever the prop firm account, now this is a good idea to consider when the price is going to give you a better entrance to switch to the live account and trade the live account. And this is another point of this tutorial. Usually I don't enter directly with my live account. I want to feel if I am actually taking in a correct direction, if I am aligned with the market or not, because sometimes my story about the price action can be different than actually what's on the chart, and it takes a while for me to get disappointed that I need to change the trend direction. So when I'm confident that, okay, I made a few sales or buys and I'm aligned with the main trend, I understand that. So now it's clearly, and the price is moving single directional way. I mean, one directional way. This is a one directional way. You see, it doesn't have even too much like up and down. We're moving up. That is a momentum for today. When you're seeing this on a large time frame, where you're gonna see this is as a large candle and we're moving up, that means the price is intended to go that direction. Probably at least maybe 3 times, 3 momentums like that, maybe I may expect. Now, for me, if I want to trade the live account, it's a good idea for me after warming up and feeling that I'm aligned with the market, wait for the better entrance. Usually the channels like that, they will end up with some kind of like drop down, and then maybe over here I can catch with this liquidity. By the way, there's some liquidity sitting here on MBO DOM. I can catch up the price somewhere over here approximately, and then we'll expect the price reversion. And when the price reverse to the upper side, enter conservatively to make sure that I'm entering with the confidence. Okay, when we're moving that high, that steep, I mean, this is not even a parabolic, we're moving super steep, okay, super steep. Usually it's end up with a pullback. So just get ready. And another main point from this tutorial is that it's a good idea to develop your own story or narrative why price is moving, what you're seeing, because each indicator you can interpret in a both direction, by the way. Only with the experience you can like interpret, now I understand there's several cofactors like level 2 delta, level 1 delta, like what's happening on the footprint, what's happening on the heat map, what's actually happening on the MBO DOM. And when you have all of these factors, which presented here pretty visually, easy to read, easy to see, you can make your decision in the snap. And the more the cofactors, probably the better your story will be.